Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC, the home of slamming children's books on the ground in rage. We have a very good replay. I was hoping you were going to pick that up, I'm not going to lie.
With what?
I mean, picking up... We have like a copy of the... We have a copy of the Goonies here somewhere.
I mean, I could take this and go...
There we go.
Yeah.
We slam books on the ground here in the UK.
And what?
As we have ourselves, XL, sitting at the top of the tower, framed... Very, very happily sitting there, but they have now got to take on Fnatic Rising once again to see if they can remain at the top of the tower.
Yeah, and it's a rematch from last week, and we saw how close that game was. But XL came out ahead. I think a lot of people would argue that up until the moment they lost, Fnatic looked really solid, and then they went boom. So, can they keep it together this time? That is the question. It was a close game against Diabolus.
It was a very close game versus Diabolus, but we do have obviously the XL roster starting up. We haven't seen them all since last week. So to break down the rosters a little bit more, we actually are joined by not a scoundrel. We're joined by Doctor. How you doing, Doctor?
Doing good.
Medic.
Yeah, Medic 2.0. I mean, I got the height down, right? But just here to go ahead and break down the rosters, starting off with XL. Same roster that we saw last week when they got that tower champion spot, and they will still be running the LEC in mid lane at Exile, of course. Hopefully we'll have that one up in just a second. You see it coming in. There it is. So we got Sendo in top lane, Taxa back in the jungle, Exile again in the middle lane, Inax on AD, and Mystique's on support. People saying maybe Mystique's was a bit robbed of MVP last week. We'll have to see if he's going to get that Thresh this time around. We'll be able to see what Mystique's can pull off in the bottom lane there. Again, Inax was playing really well last week. They had a really good showing just as that duo. Exile, his rise, uncontestable as well. So really looking pretty good on that champion. It's looking to be a really solid roster, and obviously that's why they're at the top of the table here, being the current tower champions. If we take a second, we're going to go over and look at the Fnatic roster as well. We've just seen them play, but we'll get a little bit of a refresher on this one. So of course, Shikari in the top lane, Dan in the jungle, Magic Felix in mid, the solo queue Scourge himself, and X-Matty, and of course your man of the match, Prosfair, following in the footsteps of the LEC Fnatic's support player, obviously coming up as the Pyke mastermind in that last game, and Hittersang being known for the mastery of that champion as well. So what do you two think about these guys?
They're both pretty good at League.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
okay.
That's a pretty big blanket statement to make, but it's fair.
That's right, you make blanket statements and you can't be wrong.
True. I mean, you could have a really
team is going to win
big bad problem.
A team is going to win this next game.
You're right.
Yeah?
A support is probably going to be played.
Well, here's a blanket statement. It's going to be a really good game, so...
I mean, I hope it's a good game. I really don't want it...
I think it's almost certain. I can't see either of these teams going in and not taking it to the tooth.
They're going to be out for blood. Especially
Absolutely.
after that last game for Fnatic, and they just had such good team fighting at the end of that last game. They're just
want
hungry
revenge.
now.
They want revenge. They want to win this. But XL, they've been sitting back, and I personally went to visit the XL players in Twickenham today, had a little chat with them, and their biggest frustration for tonight is that they have to sit out until now at 9 PM, and they just have to watch all the other teams play.
Itching to go, man.
And waiting, and they want to murder Fnatic. They want to just absolutely crush them. They've been waiting all day. I mean, I spoke to the bot lane off XL, and their view on it was better bot lane wins, so they're going to win.
Ooh.
I spoke to Taxa, and he said, Dan's a bit overrated. I'm going to bring it to him. I mean, they had some big talk to come for them, and they are ready to bring the fight.
I mean, bold words coming out of XL from their offices. Orcs went to see them earlier, but Doctor, I want to get your opinion on who you think's going to take this game.
I mean, we just seen Fnatic come up versus Diabolus, and it was a really, really close game. We saw XL play Fnatic last week, really close as well, but XL just coming out on top. And like you were saying, maybe it's a bit of bot lane difference. There's nothing against X-Matty, nothing against Prosfair, but XL's bot lane looking really, really strong. And just to hammer that point home a little bit, we're going to have a video coming up here where we spoke to Mystique's about his thoughts on the match.
So my message to the team would be that even if you're gonna ban Thresh, I still have a lot of pocket picks in my pocket, a lot of engaged champions and playmakers, so you cannot actually outban me. So even if Thresh is banned, I will still smurf it.
Supreme confidence.
I mean, where else did you keep your pockets and not in your pocket? He said, I have more pocket picks in my pocket.
Well, yeah, but, you know, I think it's just a supreme confidence that comes out from him. And having spoken to him earlier, he seems very confident. He was talking about the matchup, and he was just like, I've got a draft planned out. We're going to pick this. We'll stomp them easy. Like, he was going in, like, and then I think it was Inax was saying, yeah, but what if they pick this? And he goes, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
A lot of confidence coming out of XL's bot lane there.
By Fnatic. So, I mean, we've got to see if he can bring it.
He did last week. So, if XL do actually win this game, they have to play Fnatic next week.
Yeah.
At the beginning of day 1. So, it's really awkward for XL. Well, not awkward, but it's not as easy as if Fnatic win. They just sit on the tower, wait until this point next week, and then they get to play a team. XL, if they win, they have to then play another game on Wednesday versus the same team and try to do the same thing twice. So there's quite a lot on the line here, and I think for XL, you know, this is really a kind of statement game. You know, they are the other LEC team here in the UK. They won the first one. They want to win the second one. They want to say, look, we've been in the UK scene longer than you, Fnatic. Yeah. We want to hold this.
I think that's the thing, is that they won the last one, but it wasn't convincing. I think if they win this one as well, people are going to start to really raise the question, are Fnatic just outclassed? Because first week, I don't think you can say that was the case at all. They really need to prove that they didn't just win by a fluke where Matty misplayed, Mystiques did a god hook. They need to prove it in this game. But I think Fnatic are out for blood, so it's going to be hard.
I think both teams are definitely out for blood.
Yeah.
Now, we talked a lot about the last game, and we focused a lot on Shikari, but I want to look towards this mid lane. Exile taking on Magifelix. Magifelix has been pretty consistently good at getting ahead in lane, but then there's been positional mistakes. We even saw it in the last game versus Diabolus. He got caught out 1v5, and if that happens again, like it did happen last week, it could open an avenue for XL to accelerate the game and take over.
Absolutely, and I think that Exile has been phenomenal so far. I think his rise was really solid, and I think as well, just as an addition to the team, I think just he offers such a wealth of experience, because obviously the other players are not rookies by any means, but comparing to someone who's had 2 years of experience in the LEC, and I think as well as that, when I was talking to his manager earlier today, he was saying how he thinks that he's seen so much confidence and just he's almost a lot more relaxed now he's played in the UKLC, because the issue of playing in the LEC is that it's like every other week you're up against Caps or someone similar.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure, and I think he's found this opportunity where he's on a squad with players with less experience from him. He's sort of looked to as a person with the most knowledge, most experience, and he's just found an opportunity to explore and really reach his potential, and I think it's going to be really good for him. And that's what his manager said as well.
So let's look a little bit towards picks and bans, as that will be coming up shortly. What are we expecting coming into this game? Are we Mystique's fresh probably gone, I would assume? Or do you think Fnatic maybe have had time to think about what they would do into it instead?
I honestly think that they shouldn't ban the Mystique's Thresh. I think that if I mean, there might be a situation where they go, look, we couldn't answer it, but it's been a whole week since that was problematic. I think if you go into it like, we have to ban this champion because he's too insane, like, his Thresh is great, don't get me wrong, but there is counterplay to Thresh, you know? And I think that them playing around it is better than them just flat out banning it, especially when there are so many champs on this patch that you have to focus bans on, particularly since Fnatic are red side. So, I mean, there's big picks like the Yasuo, the Cassiopeia, the Lucian, the Urgot potentially. There's lots of big power picks that you want to ban away when you're on that red side. And I think if they start throwing bans at the Thresh, it might be quite risky. Sure, if he doesn't pick support or second rotation, yeah, throw a ban at the Thresh. But I feel like they should have put themselves in a position where they went, right, Mystiques plays Thresh, he's good at Thresh, we need a plan. And if they haven't found out a plan in a week, that really raises some questions. Yeah,
questions will be raised if they can't answer out Mystique's Thresh. But we talked about mid lane. Yep. I want to have a little look at this bot lane. Mystiques is feeling very confident. I mean, this is arguably maybe kind of also you got Yusa in there, but I think like our top 3 kind of bot lanes is the Diabolus bot lane, the Fnatic Rising bot lane, and the XL bot lane.
I think that's fair. That's a fair assessment.
This is going to be another really hard matchup for Maddie and Prosper. You know, they actually had a game that was pretty much decided by Yusa, who then got one shot by Prosper at the end of that last fight. But outside of that, Yusa won every fight for Diabolus. If they can't kind of capture that lightning in the bottle once again and one-shot Inax, he also is a player who's capable of running away with a team fight.
Yeah, I think last week, I think both Xmatty and Inax had a lot of mistakes, and they weren't very convincing. I think Mystique's was. And I think so far this week, Prosper has tried to make that case as well. So I'm expecting good play from both supports. But really for the AD carries, especially in a meta like this, I just want to see less mistakes. Because you see those moments like Inax dashing in on Kai'Sa and just almost instantly dying. And then you also saw Matty getting caught out a bit too many times. Just try and trim down the mistakes. And I think that the bot lanes will be absolutely stellar because the level of play is very high, but I still want to see that aggression.
And I mean, going back as well to some of the stories we talked about last week, when you look at someone like Prosper, he said that he aspired to be a player like Mystiques. You know, Mystiques was one of the supports he said was one of the strongest here in the league.
I mean, he said he was the strongest.
Yeah, and you know, he really put him on a pedestal and says, you know, I really respect the guy. I want to also prove that I'm as good as him. You know, both of these teams, better, just as good or better. I mean, both of these teams, both of these players and all of these teams, you know, this is the academy teams. Yes. This is room for you to grow.
They are looking level at each other and they really want to prove themselves. And the thing is as well is that neither of their LEC component teams, I'm not sure what I'm saying. Neither of the LEC teams of either of the orgs.
The sister teams.
The sister teams, yeah, thank you. Neither of them are doing that great. So to me, if I was them, I would see this as an opportunity. It's like, hey, whenever you see someone like, you know, let's say Reckless had that bad game on Sivir, X might be sitting there thinking, if I really pop off, maybe, just maybe there's a chance.
Maybe I could take Reckless. I mean, that's a tall ask.
It's a tall ask, but you got to be hoping. And that's the ambitions of these players. They want to be moving up, and that's why they bring it out. We will be in pick and ban.
Yep, we're going to see the Zoe, Xin Zhao, Lucian quickly fired out here from XL. And Fnatic Rising as the Fresh is going to be banned away. They are playing respect towards Mystiques, but like we saw in that video, he said he's got other things in his pocket.
Yeah, and I absolutely believe it. I just guess they didn't want to face up against
Blitz
the Thresh. That is an option.
Just hooks. He's one trick pony. Hooks
it is a strong champion, but I don't think you can ban that and think, okay, we've disarmed Mystiques, because that's absolutely not the case. They're all going to get banned away, and I have to think Fnatic must ban Yasuo here. If they don't, I'm going to be very concerned.
I mean, this is in Exile's wheelhouse. Katarina and Yasuo are two champs. We know he's capable of playing. Doubt the Katarina, but like we were saying, and like we talked about, Yasuo is just so strong at the moment. They are going to ban it away.
Something that suggested it to me was the Olaf ban. It's because I've heard about combos that are particularly effective with Yasuo. And the crucial thing is, if you have a jungler who can set up Yasuo's ultimate, he's in a great position. But the Olaf really threatens that, because obviously you can't ult him easily, and he provides a lot of pressure just running down the Yasuo. So I think the bans are fairly balanced on both sides and cutting out some fat away from the other teams. And then we're going to see the Urgot picked up by Sendo, and then very quickly
it's more R-key for Dan.
And the edge, and this is a burden because they banned away that Olaf, because they were trying to go for a strong composition based on the Yasuo. It now means Dan picks up that Karthus again. However, we saw it wasn't quite as smooth last game. There were definitely points where he got caught out, and I know that this is the pick Taxa plays into it. It is that Ivan, and there is a reason for this. Okay, the issues when facing up against a Karthus are his fast clear time and his ult. So Tax on this Ivan has a very fast clear time. He is remarkably fast.
Technically, his ult can also interrupt the Karthus.
But it's not really the ult, it's more the shield.
Yeah.
If you put the shield on your AD carry when the ult comes down, you can provide the protection. So
also, Karthus doesn't ult till he's in passive normally.
Yeah, Taxa talks about this as a pick that does well into the Karthus. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. We then see the Rise coming in from
That's an
XL
Aurelia,
again,
though.
Strong, and then the Aurelia.
This is 9.3 Aurelia, so it's not that mid lane Aurelia we all know. It's very different.
It's got more sustained damage, by all means, but it definitely does lack in the burst department. I expect to see it top, but I mean, Magic Felix has been known to play the Aurelia. I just don't think it'd do that great into Rise without that magic damage reduction. So I guess we'll have to see. Would be a good split push if Shikari wanted it. And right now, no AD carry picked up from XL, so they're going to start banning away ADs. And on the other side, XL, they're not even phased. You know, they ban away the Thresh and Mystiques, and he's like, you know what, ban some more supports. This isn't enough. So he's taken Braun off the table. And looks like Kai'Sa going as well. So Lucian gone, Kai'Sa gone, Tristana gone. We still have things like the Sivir available, and XL just hammering the support. So Mystiques, absolutely confident here.
And I feel like Fnatic Rising just take themselves a support at this point. I don't like the idea of them putting a Pike in with the Ezreal. So I think the lock in the Olaf, flexible still.
The Ornn. You said
Ornn, sorry.
Yeah, I think the reason they take a top laner here is because you know the enemy top lane. So I think it's a safer option to go for.
No hesitation, by the way.
Yeah,
and now they Mystiques just lock in the Zyra Khan. No hesitation. They even picked their order in pick order. They went top, jungle, mid, AD support.
And now seeing the Galio. So this is something Prosper has actually been playing a lot of in solo queue as support. I'd say it's actually come back in the meta as a support rather than as a mid laner. That global presence is huge on a champion like that. And then to talk about the Xayah Rakan is, sure, Rakan moved down in priority because people rated the W a lot weaker, but his engage is still stellar. And when you look at a team comp with a Karthus on, if you get on top of him and just blow him up, it's always going to be great. And Xayah is so strong with the crit item changes, and considering she had some compensation buffs, the extended route on the Blade Caller, and now with the crit item changes, she's in a really good spot. And when you have her coupled with the Rakan, I think that's a really strong bot lane. And I'm not super confident that Galio and Ezreal are going to be enough to go up against it. The one asset you have is that they're both quite long range. You can just fire, poke at the waves, and trim it down. But
and if Rakan does go in, technically the taunt from the Galio would save.
You can lock him down for a bit.
It's quite a pokey lane. There's a little bit of denial, so I feel like this Xayah Rakan are just going to be comfortable pushing the lane up as much as possible and then looking for the plays elsewhere on the map. Look to try and get some attention down with their jungler and look just to try and work around it that way.
Yeah, but I just think XL have got great engage. They have some really powerful carries behind them, and I expect them to really force it. It's interesting to see that the Aurelias go mid. I'm going to have to see how Magifelix does in that, because I know he is great on the champion, but he was great in the champion when it was ridiculously strong and much better in these mid lane matchups. That W no longer reduces magic damage, so if Ryze does a full combo into you, you're eating that full combo. And the thing is, it's not like you're going to have gank pressure from the Karthus, because he's not going to come rolling into lane, or he's liable to die.
Yeah. I mean, talking about the Ivern gank pressure, it's been a while since I've seen an Ivern.
Yeah.
So what are we kind of expecting, really, out of him? What is he going to be doing?
Well, he clear fast like a Karthus, because obviously he sets up his camps and leaves them. But the advantage is he can walk into a lane and throw his root caller, or whatever it's called.
Well, it's time to climb the tower one more time. One of these teams will be sitting at the top coming out of week 2. The other one will be knocked back down to the bottom to join the other 7 teams to try and climb their way up once again to challenge away at the Tower Championship. Let's see if it's going to be XL for a second week in a row, or if Fnatic can finally get their hands on that tower.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a close match, but just coming off the draft, I have to favor XL here. I think they've picked up some solid picks in the response of what Fnatic has taken. We do see that Ornn come out again from Shikari. I think he did fine in the Scion, but up against Sendo's Urgot, I'm not so convinced. We'll have to see how the lane matchup goes, though. Haven't seen this matchup for quite a time, and the champions have changed a lot.
We'll see the Skinergy here as well.
But, I mean, to me, I feel like the new Aurelia doesn't do that well in mid, so I think Ryze is going to have the advantage in that lane. I feel like Urgot is just generally so strong top, he's going to have the advantage there. And I think Xayah Rakan are going to have the advantage early bot lane. And the thing is, you have a Karthus jungle, so it's not like you have a jungler who's going to be able to change the pace of any of those lanes. And I just feel like I'm of the opinion that Fnatic have drafted themselves into a bit of a corner here, but we're going to have to see how it plays out. But already you can see Shikari just getting zoned out.
Yeah, respecting how much damage, but Sendo can do with the shotgun knees early. Skinergy is on fire for XL. Both rocking the same skin.
I mean, you have to. It's really, really not cool to. I mean, they did last time when they played Lucian Thresh. They both had those new high noon skills.
Maybe that's the counter. They can only play the same champions that have the same skin lines.
Yeah, absolutely. And Prospect actually going Taunt Fist, but look at the damage Exile's putting down the Magifelix. The level advantage, because, I mean, you have a range advantage. And it's just so hard, because under normal circumstances, you think, right, Aurelia has a ton of burst, can just dive on him, take him out. But since Aurelia got changed, it's not quite like that anymore.
And you see Magifelix tried to get the stun onto Exile there. Doesn't land it, and then takes a little bit of poke on the way out. As Shikari now is going to have to pick up most of this wave, as Taxa just going to plod around the jungle, pick up his camps that he set up for himself earlier.
Yeah, and this is a crucial thing, is that a lot of people always see an engaged bot lane.
That's the Ignite onto Prospect already. The Blade Caller is available. They're looking to go really aggressive here. Prospect will make his way out, but did have to burn that flash. The heal and Ignite used by Mystiques, though.
Yeah, I think Aftershock's doing dividends for Prospect there, but still he's low and getting zoned out. And XL's bot lane is showing that they are not pulling any punches here.
They're definitely feeling very, very comfortable here, this bot lane duo. And X-Manny is running the teleport, so no heal actually available to the Fnatic Rising bot lane. As Prospect looking to jump in, and that's just going to be first blood onto X-Manny. Now Inax needs to be so careful. The minions are going to do the damage, and it's just a double kill to X-Manny.
Yeah, just overconfidence from Inax and Mystiques. They went way too far in that engage, and they get punished pretty heavily.
Double kill at X-Maddie is really big because they just gained so much control in the lane and got
That shouldn't
completely
happen.
undone.
That shouldn't happen.
Let's see
Well,
what
watch
happened
out what did happen. And
Oh.
he goes so aggressive, gets taunted under tower. Just a big mistake. And you can see Inax knows he's dead. There's not much you can do. Oh, Matty even dances away, but just a big misplay coming out from Mystiques. And this is someone who we credited massively for his Thresh play, and that really did not look good.
Yeah, very over-eager to try and get this lane snowballing as they...
I mean, look at the items now. Matty picking up that full sheen against the boots of Inax. That's really put a spanner in the works. And, you know, I talked about I wasn't sure where the advantages would come for Fnatic. Well, it looks like XL have found the advantage for them by handing over 2 free kills.
Thaxter does have smite, so he will be able to pick this crab up in a second, although actually just looking to find out some people. Mainly Dan. Prospects with him. Ascendo actually going for a trade here onto Shikari. Health bar's relatively low. Grasping Undying for Shikari will give him a slight heal.
Talking about why this jungle matchup works effectively is because you can see the Karthus likes to go for... Oh, we've seen an engaged mid.
Exile's looking to go on a Magic Felix. Magic Felix forced to use that cleanse, been slowed up by the red buff, and oh, the Q! So much damage.
I mean, that just highlights the difference that Taxa has done a full clear of his jungle at the same pace that Dan has, and now he's able to make a gank happen because his champion does more than a Karthus.
Yeah, you can see Shikari's pretty low. Sendo not quite close to level 6 yet, but Taxa wants to go in for that invade. Trying to steal away some camps as Prospect looking to go on Inax. Taunt will land onto one. The knock-up comes through as well. They've got the blades to work with to root up one. Aftershock is now worn out, and Mystique's just going to run away. Inax doesn't really have the mana to continue fighting.
I feel like that Aftershock is so crucial here for the Galio. I mean, it feels like he becomes almost unkillable when he makes use of it, and I think that's what really stops the trade being turned around. Right now, we actually see Dan pushing into Tax's jungle for some vision. It's very difficult to do anything against. I mean, you can clear the camps once he's already set them up, but Tax is never going to spend a ton of time on his camps. You know, he goes to them and then he comes back, and if he needs to secure it, he'll use his smite. So, I mean, this is why the matchup works so effectively. You don't need to spend a ton of time in your jungle to keep up the pace of Dan, but you can still make an impact on the map. As you can see, he's looking to do bot.
Well, Mystiques is looking to go in for the play. X-Maddie jumps in forward. Inax, a little low on HP. That's going to be the root cooler in. Inax has a shield on top of him. The damage is coming on the Prospect. They're in with the ignite. Can the damage come through? Prospect will die, and now X-Maddie is going to get one in return. Inax is forced to flash away. Out goes the Featherstorm. Going to try and chase in as Taxa flashes in forward. Misses out on the break cooler. X-Maddie 1v2. Might be able to get the damage here. Taxa's running away. One more Q comes forward, and X-Maddie picks up his 3rd kill.
Yeah, and the bot lane goes from bad to worse. And we talked about how Inax and Mystiques were going to bring it.
Oh, true shot, true shot, true shot!
Ooh,
not enough!
Connect. It just missed out, but see more aggression from the top lane.
Now Sendo
in trouble.
In for a bit of trouble. The ignite does come out. As he
Zoning ignite. It was a zoning ignite.
Yeah.
What a bloodbath already. I mean, look how strong Matty is. This was someone I had concerns about. But look at the difference between him and Inax. And Mystiques and Inax came in so confident in this matchup. I mean, I can personally attest to that. I spoke to them. This does not look good when you are confident coming into this. They are really not having a good early game.
You can see XR now on the receiving end of a gank. That's going to be the Vanguard's edge. Prospect. Sorry. Yes, Prospect does go in. He actually is going to get the taunt onto XR. The ignite comes down. XR's forced to flash away. Magic Felix flashes into the tower. Taxa just doing a little bit of damage to him here and there. The stun's going to go wide. And Mystiques can jump into the fray. Doesn't have ignite. So they're just going to step away for now.
Such a bloodthirsty game. I mean, we called it. We called it, but I didn't expect
Requiem's coming down the shield's going to be enough. And Exile makes his way out.
Yeah, crucial save for Mystiques there, using the Guardian and the shield as a combination. That's the power of having a Rakan and a Ivan, is that they both have shields to offer when that Requiem comes down. And they only need one of them there, but later on, having the 2 might be very beneficial.
Oh, Shikari is struggling a little bit in this lane, but is able to clear out the wave with relative ease and enough HP to know that he's not going to be executed by Sendo.
Which is always nice. You know?
That is always nice.
I don't like being executed, personally. Don't know how you feel about it.
I'm okay with it.
Oh, fair enough.
I like a good execute. It's a satisfying one to use.
I mean, looks like Sendo's looking for this one.
It might be able to use it. Does have the ulti, but it's not going to be enough as Taxa is waiting in the wings. Maybe a tower dive is going to come forward as Daisy gets summoned. Shikari's in for a bit of trouble. The shield's on, and now Daisy's looking to chase down. That's going to be the Fear Beyond Death going a little bit wide, and now Taxa has to be a little bit careful. Daisy might just kill him. Not going to be murdered by a cupcake.
No one's here, and Taxa Star's red, but I think he's scared that Karthus could be there, but he's not even coming. He's recalling.
I mean, you're seeing the Sheen pickaxe onto Xmatty into Inax, who just has a pickaxe at the moment. Prosper wants to try and take himself down a turret plate here. Mystique needs to be so careful. Mystique actually jumps in, just gets the heal off.
Still confident, even though he's struggled so far this game. I mean,
Props to him.
I'm going to say it that the 2v2 they lost early was purely down to Mystique's mistakes. So this is someone who we gave so much credit last week, and first game of the day, first game he's played this week, he's really not performed.
Yeah. But Prosper and Xmatty continuing to perform today, as they are going to look to try and get himself a turret 4-0. Shikari still hasn't been able to base. Taxa is trying to stop him as much as possible, but finally he gets that base off, and now Dan and Xmatty will be able to take out this Cloud Drake as Taxa made himself known in that top lane.
Yeah, just a bit of fun between all teammates. Taxa and Shikari did used to be in a team together, and you know, just having a little, oh, no, I'm not going to let you recall. You're right. No, I'm just going to annoy you. Not actually going to kill each other. Just a bit of friendly banter. Oh, and I mean, look at the item difference. Zaya has a pickaxe. And it's getting flanked.
That's going to be Prosper jumping in. 4 members strong. The Blade Caller's coming out. That's going to be the ultimate coming forward from Prosper. The Root Caller's coming in. Oh, that's so much damage. Inax is able to turn it around on a Dan. A 1-for-1 trade.
And I would absolutely take that from that position. I mean, it does mean that Matty's going to get some damage on his tower and some turret plating, but still.
They've got the Demolish. So, pop goes the plate. It will go down. Xmatty's able to get it. Taxa going to try and stop this from happening. As Mystique does have a shield on him, but just using that to clear out the wave for now.
Yeah, I mean, still, Inax goes down, misses a lot of farm there, but the kill back onto Dan is definitely something you want to happen. I think just overcommit the CC on Inax, but it's not a bad trade for Fnatic, you know. You do stop him from picking up that massive wave, and Inax is so far behind Nightmares. Did finally manage to pick up the F-Sword, but I feel like by the time he finishes Infinity Edge, Mighty's going to be sitting on a Mirror Mana and a full Iceborne Gauntlet.
Now, imagine Felix got that Tiamat, so he does have some pushing into Exile now. Not opting into the Triforce item first, wants just to be able to shove the waves as much as possible. And for anyone who's not seen Aurelia for a while, there's been a reason for that. They did a lot of changes to her.
It's interesting that he's holding his own after the nerfs, which to me says that she was just ridiculously broken before the nerfs.
I mean, they completely changed the champion. Like, the passive is different now.
Yeah,
gives it granting growing attack speed as you stack it.
Attack speed means I think she's quite good in top lane as a split pusher, but it looks like she's still pretty viable mid. But I mean, imagine if this champion did more base damage and had that magic damage reduction. I mean, it would look a bit dicey for Exile. So, quite frankly, I'm happy with dealing with the nerf version, so things are a bit more fair.
The ultimate doesn't disarm anymore as well, but it does give extra damage if you hit it.
Yeah,
but
so
it's a little bit easier just to not hit the walls that way.
Pros and cons, pros and cons.
You can see for now, Fnatic, we're going to start up this Rift Herald. 3k gold lead over to the side of Fnatic as well at the moment, as most of that is sitting on Xmatty, and now you're seeing the chunk of damage coming forward, and Xmatty, 5 kills!
Gotta give credit to Prosper for that. Completely set it up. Used the sweeper to find Mystiques, and they just one-shot him. And the person that a lot of people hailed as being the MVP for last week in driving XL to their victory is not looking very good in this game.
Definitely looking a little bit more uncomfortable now after the start to that last game. He did even say that he felt very confident coming into this matchup. Felt like he had an answer, but what started out as a strong start for this XL bot lane quickly deteriorated, and now they're dealing with a 5-0 Ezreal, pickaxe and BF sword onto Inax, while Xmatty is walking around with a Mana Mune and that Sheen. Just finished up the Iceborne Gauntlet, as I call it out as well.
Yeah, and it looks like he going towards his boots will get the Pen boots. I mean, this is just a huge power spike. If you compare his items to Inax, when he stacks that mirror mana, he's going to be so strong. And Chikari going for the engage.
Here comes the Call of the Forge God, trying to turn it onto Exile. Not going to be enough to get it as the Realm Walk comes out. Exile gets stunned up, and here comes the damage. The Redemption's coming down. Exile has to buy time for the moment versus Magic Felix, but he's 1v4. He's flashing away. The Wall of Pain is here. And here comes the shield. Daisy is entered into the fray. Magic Felix can't find that kill, and Exile gets out with the True Shot, and the Requiem still won't be enough.
And that's the power of that Ivan. Completely prevented that from happening. Kept his carry alive, but still not a great situation for Exile when Fnatic are putting down that Rift Herald.
You can see that Mystiques and Inax are trying to make their way down, but that's going to be a lot of change given over to this bot lane. Ascendo now tries to clear out the Rift Herald. Turret will not go down, but a lot of gold into the pocket of Fnatic from that single Rift Herald.
Absolutely. They managed to really cash it in, and no one feeling the benefits more than xMatty on this Ezreal. I'm going to keep talking about it all game, but he has so much gold. The CS difference as well is just massive over Inax. It's not a great situation to be in. When you pick this bot lane with so much confidence, they locked it in instantly. They were like, this is what we're going to play into the Ezreal. And it turns out like this, it's got to be disheartening.
It's got to be very disheartening indeed, but they do at least trade out turret for turret at this point, and when you're down in gold trading turret for turret, at least kind of going equal on the gold trade keeps you in the game. You don't want to just be losing objectives and not gaining anything back and just slowly letting the game fall apart from you. But this mid wave has to be the focus here for Fnatic now. That Rift Herald already done so much work to the turret. Should be an easy tidy up.
Yeah, the one issue is that Magic Felix isn't going to be able to apply pressure by himself. You don't want to get in melee range of the turret. So they have to move Matty there, but he's ready to come over. But right now, they're looking towards this Mountain Drake. A good one to pick up at this point, especially when there's so much damage on Fnatic. They can take down Barons very fast.
Inax just picked up the blue buff as well. Yep. That's going to be the tower going down.
I think
3 turrets
it's
now.
unfortunate for Exile, but he's on the other side of the map, so I understand why they ended up giving it. It's actually interesting because Exile took the red buff, so it looks like they're just trading buffs. They're not really bothered who has one as long as someone has one. I mean, that's another strength to Ivan, is that you can always give away your buffs while also keeping it yourself. But, you know, talking about strength to Ivan, would I rather have Ivan or be 4k gold up?
I definitely wouldn't want to have Peter Crouch, so... I've always thought he's Peter Crouch.
That lanky run. Is it run? It's more like a gate.
I don't know. It's something you'd expect to see from the Ministry of Funny Walks.
Yeah. Maybe they asked them for recommendations.
I wonder how many people that went over the heads of.
Lots.
I'll be very sad if it's lots.
Anyway, moving on. Items been built.
Yeah, you got the Infinity Edge now finished up on Inax.
Woo, he's got one item.
He's got one item to Matty's 2. Obviously, Infinity Edge does cost quite a lot, and xMatty's items are fairly cost effective. But
the crucial thing is when that mirror mana gets stacked, because that's when Matty really comes online. And
yeah, he's got that second tier as well, so he's gonna try and stack that as quick as possible.
Oh, the Unhorn comes in bot,
yeah,
try and get Exile. But if you look top, Sendo just missed that ult, but he's fighting them off 1v2.
Yeah, the rest of the team are collapsing though onto him. xMatty making his way up. Has a lot of damage you can put down. This could just be the end of Sendo. See him jump away to safety. Dan does have that Requiem, and Dan
he's getting
maybe
way
wants
too
to be a little bit careful here. Shikari now going to get rooted up, and Tax is looking to put the damage onto him. Exile has that shield on for the moment. In comes the Redemption to heal them up, and down goes Shikari. Taxa's not going to get that kill because Exile picks it up. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Sendo holds out 1v3. That gives time for Inax and Mystiques to push up the mid lane.
And this is a crucial power of that Rise that we saw from Exile last week. The split push is so effective. And sure, Aurelia is a fine answer into it, but she has no TP herself. So when you send Exile bot, you don't really want to have to answer it with the Aurelia. But the problem is that Shikari's built armor to deal with the Urgot. So up against the Rise, it's just free pickings.
And now the gold lead's gone down to just 2,000 for Fnatic, as they are slowly starting to lose that lead they had. But this tower in the mid lane still remains very healthy for them, so Fnatic can walk away at least happy with that, knowing that it's not really under too much pressure unless they make a real bad map decision.
Yeah, absolutely. But we are sort of having the timers tick away, and Baron will be on the cards soon. I don't think either team's going to be in rushing to take it. It definitely comes into contention. Matty's still not stacked that mirror mana, but you got to think it's going to be soon. And when it does, that is when I feel like Fnatic need to take the driver's seat and just steamroll ahead in this game, because he will be the most powerful and the most relevant champion in the game.
I am wondering whether or not we actually see that the tier bug. It happened to iBoy when he was playing over in the LPL, where when he bought his second tier before it stacked, and it just started stacking the second tier first.
I think it's only an issue if you build it in the Seraphs, but I mean, maybe the bug is occurred, so I hope it doesn't, because that would be a very painful situation and probably result in a remake, so please, don't do that.
I mean, it's one of those things that I don't think they even noticed until it was too late.
Yeah.
Well, but no, it has now fully stacked, so...
Yes, Marona, so now...
Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, now
I'm
is
just
the
talking
talking
about my
point when Xmatty really is the most relevant, the most strong champion in the game. And I want to see what Fnatic will do off the back of him. Because, oh, you just saw him put so much burst into Mystiques off the back of that, but they're looking for Magic Felix.
They are looking for Magic Felix indeed. He's trying to get the stun out, does land it onto one. Mystiques, you can see in the bot lane running away. The Requiem's coming down. This could just be the end of the bird. As he gets squashed down, Magic Felix will be answered out in the 1-for-1 though.
I think the winner there definitely has to be XL. Not only did the massive cooldown of the Requiem get used, but they got a big shutdown for Magic Felix there. Yes, they lost their support, but, you know, Mystiques wasn't worth too much gold anyway when he's already 1-4.
Yeah, exactly. Good gold gain for them. As you can see, the Seraphs is also being started up here for Exile, so he's working towards stacking his own tier at this point in the game.
I mean, it's just a stacking minigame nowadays. That is League of Legends 2019. Well, only for a couple of champions, but those ones will be very relevant when they have stacked them up. You obviously seen the Mirror Man already for Matty, and he's coming to close down on Sendo.
Sendo could just been for a bit of pain here, but he actually is trying to run it in for Dad. Uses that Purge away, throws out the ulti, trying to get some damage off, but it landed onto the wrong target. The True Shot Barrage goes wide, and now Sendo trying to buy some time. The slow lands onto Prosper. The blast cone is up. Sendo actually makes a miracle escape. 1v3. The man comes up huge. Now we can see XL looking to start up Baron. Magic Felix is coming in, and the Call of the Forge Squad does get summoned. You can see Inax trying to do some damage onto this Baron for the moment, and Shikari and Magic Felix have to go 1v4 to defend. In comes Shikari. In comes Prosper with the hero's entrance. He's launching in. Magic Felix is looking for Exile. It's going to be a 2-for-0 in favor of Fnatic Rising. And now Xmatty's here. Baron should go over to them.
Yeah, they're going to look for it, but they are so cautious of Taxa being there. I think they don't want the 50-50, so they will back off. But just an overstay from XL. The Baron start was nice, but then they didn't back away correctly. And I think Mystiques crucially just died for no reason there.
Taxa?
He's just going to walk it out.
He's been spotted on a ward.
Oh, actually, the recall got cancelled by Prosper. He's coming for him.
He's in for a lot of trouble. Taunt's going to land, teleport's coming through, and I don't think Taxa's going to live for long. In comes Sendo now. He's trying to run it out, and he's just got to look for one onto Taxa, but teleport's coming out as well. Up goes the knock-up. The redemption's going to come through. Shikari's entered into the fray. Inax has to put some damage down, but the front line is just too tanky. True Shot Barrage does not clip onto anyone, but with the jungler and the top laner for XL dead, Fnatic actually might just be able to get Baron here.
I mean, that was just a crucial mistake. There was no reason for Taxa to go that way, and then when he caused Sender to die as well, they're just going to give over Baron. I don't think they can stop this.
Mystiques can't enter in. Prosper channels the taunt, and down goes Baron Nashor. 21 minutes on the clock, and Fnatic looking to continue to control this game. 6k ahead. And Mystiques could be in trouble here.
I mean, I don't want to discredit Fnatic's play. They've had some really solid, but I really have to raise questions at Mystiques this game, because it feels like he is just being the catalyst for all the Fnatic plays, and he's on the wrong team.
Yeah. He carries the team either way.
Yeah, well, they live or die by him. 1-5-1, not looking good right now, but still hope for XL. That fully stacked Seraphs now available on XL's Rise, and they will be looking towards finishing that second item for Inax. But it's a hard ask when they're going up against the Baron of Fnatic and that big gold lead, as you mentioned before.
And I mean, the Rower's not even fully stacked as well for XL yet, so he's actually not done with his own stacking game yet. You can see that tier on Matty, but he wants to finish into the Archangels. Getting closer and closer. 1 Q at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to be another big point. It just feels like normally Ezreal might struggle if Xayah starts to pull ahead on him, so we are actually going to have a replay of the fight, so we'll talk about that later. So Shikari goes in, and crucially, Mystiques just dies to the Baron. And then Taxa and Inax split off, but they all just run for Exile, who is the strongest member on XL right now. And as soon as they cleared that out, it's free pickings. And I can actually see Prosper on the flank, so look at the minimap. He's actually around the back. Be aware of that, but it looks like he's pulling back.
Well, it looks like actually he might just try and close in. In comes the call of the Forge God. 4 members grouped up, not actually going to hit onto anyone but Taxa. Turret will remain, and Sendo is able just to run away. Fnatic do defend their tower.
And in the meantime, MagiFelix is splitting up a Storm. And crucially, we talked about how Exile was able to split push himself, but now MagiFelix, thanks to the extra farm opportunities and that Baron XP, is 2 levels up on Exile. I don't think that's a good split push situation anymore for him. And now they have to send both members of the bot lane just to hold that Aurelia.
I mean, Shikari's victory pose is so pure. I might have to hold that fort though, because Engage is coming forward, the Redemption's going to go down. Sendo going to be a victim of a fight. Prosper pretty low on HP, and Mystiques is needing fun in opening. He gets himself in with a knock up onto one. Shikari going to get rooted up by Exile, and now Exile looking to turn this around. It's going to be a shutdown in favor of Inax onto Shikari. Now MagiFelix throws out the Vanguard's edge. The Requiem's coming in. Fnatic are going for the fight. Mystiques is going to go down. MagiFelix is going up, but Inax is going to come out huge with a double kill, and Maddie shuts him down, and Baron remains on Fnatic. They're looking to siege up for more, and it's only Taxa and Exile to defend the base.
And as if in spite of me to prove me wrong, Mighty has been huge this game. Now 7-0. Inax did only could just survive there, but too much damage came towards him. And when you thought Fnatic surely have to back off when they're in a tower, the answer is no. They keep going and they find an inhibitor.
So big by Fnatic. Gonna get that Baron base off. Look at Dan's items. Just goes to base, buys a stopwatch and the Rabbit Ingles.
And there's also a stopwatch on MagiFelix now that Seraphs has got to be close to stacking up for Matty. They've started to pick up these great defensive items that's going to make it even harder for Exile to turn a team fight in their favor, because they're still trying to invest in just damage because they're lacking it.
All right, I don't think we're done fighting. That's going to be the crab picked up, as looks like Mountain Drake will go over in favor of Exile. Fnatic are a little bit too slow to make their way down to defend that objective. But still, 25 minutes on the clock. Super's in the mid lane. Exile almost got his rower fully stacked at this point. And you can see that rapid fire cannon has been picked up on Inax.
It's still so far behind Matty in terms of items.
Yeah, I think he's building an Essence Reaver as his next item as well, as he's got that pickaxe in his inventory.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good on Xayah, and when you hit like the 4-item point on Xayah, she's going to be in a great position, but Mai is already getting so close to full build. The Seraphs is going to be stacking up really fast.
Looking towards the Gunblade as well.
Potentially, or even the Blade of King. I think probably the Gunblade here because there's so many squishies. He's just going to pump out so much burst damage. And I feel like Inax is going to have a good time for auto-attacking anyone, because anyone who gets close to will just blow him up.
Well, stun does land onto Mystiques, but not going to follow up. This Fnatic will just take down this turret. Nice and easy. 25 minutes on the clock. 2 Mountain Drakes. One apiece here. Inax doing his best to hold the wave, trying to hold the game and stall out long enough to hit that 4-item Xayah you talked about.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will be looking at this and thinking, surely Fnatic are going to win this game. But we saw a similar situation last week where Fnatic pulled ahead, and then it was Exile who came on top. So there's still a chance that Miracle play, if they find Matty and kill him, that could be enough, because he has so much gold on the back of him.
Here we go. That's going to be the Ram Jam. Only landing onto one in the back. Mystiques needs to find an opening. The Blade Caller doesn't root a single member. The wave is just going to get cooled off, and Fnatic going to have to step away.
Yeah, going to back off and get back to prep for that Baron, which is spawning in just 45 seconds. That is the next objective. And Exile aren't going to be able to give this next one away, because it may well be the end of the game.
See, Exile's gone to base, bought himself the Warhammer. A long way away from that Essence Reaver as well, which will give him 25% crit and 20% cooldown reduction. So very nice on Xayah since the changes, and we've kind of gone back to the older version of Essence Reaver. You no longer get that Essence Flare.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's a nice spike to have, but we now have that Seraph's finish from Matty. That Gunblade will definitely come from his next recall. May well actually be next to the next fight, but still, he's just marching on in terms of items, and Inax just feels so far behind.
Up comes Baron.
Big purple worm. It's on the cards. Both teams got a mountain. Fnatic will take that very fast. Exile got to be in position to contest, because if they lose it, I really raise questions about their chances for this game.
Fnatic have so much control of the vision around this part of the map. Ascendo trying to scuttle his way forward, trying to get some semblance of control, but Fnatic just moving that ward line deep into Exile jungle, into their territory, and now you can see them stepping away. Looks like they're going to start up Baron already. XL just clearing wards out, slowly making their way up, and look how quick that Baron is going down. Prosper channeling the taunt once again. Daisy's going to get summoned. The Baron is already gone. And now Fnatic just looking to walk away, not even going to bother for the fight.
I mean, they don't need to. They got the Baron. They got what they wanted. Why risk fighting? You can recall, spend the gold, and set up the waves how you want them. Magifelix can quite easily start split pushing and look for an opportunity to pressure the side waves and pressure more than one wave for that Baron. And now look at the items from Ezreal. Has opted towards that Blade of the Moon King just to cook through that tankier front line, but that champion is so strong right now.
No, Taxa. Inax needs items and he needs them now.
Yeah, he needs that.
You no longer farm this game. You've done your job. You've got the Ardent. You've got the Redemption.
You've hit your Redemption power spike.
That's all you need.
And surpassed it. I mean, I came in this game, I thought the draft was solid from XL, but just crucial mistakes bot lane have cost them so desperately. And now, looking at this super fed Ezreal, it's a struggle. It's a struggle to see how they come back in, but they need to find a way onto him. Inax has finished his state item. Is a good power spike. I'm looking at Mystiques. He's really struggled this game, but he is the engage, and if he finds Maddie, no QSS available, that could be the opportunity for them to win this game.
Oh, it's going to be so hard. If they can get that kill, especially onto Inax, that could be an avenue for him to just accelerate himself back into the game. There's 1,700 gold worth of shutdowns available to XL, but it's onto members that are going to be very hard for the XL roster to actually get on top of because of the front line that Fnatic have. And if they just ignore Magifelix with a GA, they can run through them. Now Shikari throwing the ultimate down. You can see already XL's flashed away to avoid this. Sendo throws the Q out just to try and clear out the wave as the tower is going to be getting chipped away. Inhibitor in the mid lane has respawned here.
We've seen this before. Last week it went the same way. Fnatic ahead with the Baron pushing in a bot lane. Last time XL found the miracle play and caught X-Maddie. Can it happen again?
Good shield, will deny too much damage from that True Shot Barrage. XL steps forward, takes a big chunk of damage from X-Maddie, and now Sendo pops the Righteous Glory. Shikari tanks up for the rest of the team, and X-Maddie, Arcane shifts in, and half health Sendo. The feathers don't catch onto a single member of Fnatic, and this cannon is doing so much work to the tower. It's chipping it away piece by piece. The health bars need to get regenerated as Exile will go back to base and run himself back into the lane to defend. Fnatic continue to siege. Down comes the Requiem. This could just be the shove. Coming forward, the Feather Storm is going to come out by Inax to make sure he doesn't take too much damage, but the rest of XL still need to go away and base. And now Inax, without ultimate, could be in for a dangerous position. Fnatic looking to put some pressure onto this inhibitor here. 30 minutes on the clock. 2 inhibitors down inside XL's base, and XL seem like they have nothing they can do in response to this.
Yeah, and they are just playing it by the numbers, not even looking for a fight, recalling in sync so no one gets called out. Fnatic are not giving XL the chance they gave last week, where they end up throwing the game. They are playing this one as clean as possible. Now, with 2 inhibitors down in the bottom mid, it's going to get very difficult for them to defend.
It's actually the blade for X-Maddie as well.
I mentioned that earlier.
Oh.
So, yeah, maybe to punch through the tanky front line.
I just learned to zone you out over the last year.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. It's not like I provide the colourful insight. League of Legends.
League of Legends, my dude. We said it was going to be an exciting game. It started as a bloodbath, and then Fnatic have played a very strong macro game moving into the later stages of this game.
You don't want to risk it. You want to 50-50 things. 9k gold up.
You can see the Triforce has been upgraded as well.
Yeah, this tower is going down. They're not defending that. But they have to keep this inhibitor up. If it goes down, it really... I mean, I've said this so many times before, but this inhibitor is like the last little string on a rope that's all been cut so thin.
Well, Mystiques has to find himself a miracle play to make up for laning phase. If he can find that big engage catching Dan and Matty, maybe, just maybe, XL can afford and hold out here. As you can see, XL is just trying to clear out the waves in the base at the moment as 2 waves of supers are crashing in, and Fnatic are fully aware of this. They know they don't need to go over aggressive for this objective. They know they can just do as much as possible. As Prosper can take a little bit of poke here, but he's pretty tanky at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's no pressure for Fnatic to do anything. If they don't find the opportunity to get the tower, they're just going to back off and take the Baron, which is up in a minute 30. You can see they're now heading over to sweep the vision out. So it's going to be so hot. We saw last time, XL didn't even get close to contesting, and now they don't have a bottom mid inhibitor. It seems so hard. We're going to have a quick look at the gold. You can see Taxa actually in debt, so not a great situation to be in. But just look at the X-Maddie gold, 15,000, nearly 16,000. That's just so difficult to play against on that champion, who just seems so strong right now. And it's so hard to pick with his mobility.
Yeah, 3k gold lead over your lane opponent is not particularly what they wanted. Dan does have that Requiem, remember, and he maybe wants to hold fire until he hits that level 16 mark. Get as much damage and much utility out of that ultimate as possible. Also get the cooldown down a little bit. But for now, XL are doing a relatively decent job of at least holding the waves. But like you said, Baron is going to be the main objective for Fnatic to go for.
Yeah, I mean, the one saving grace. Oh, wait, we're seeing an engage.
Here comes the call of the Forge God. Not actually going to land on a single target, but the turret is going to be the focus for the moment. Sendo speeding in. The turret will go down. Mystiques is jumping away. Does have that ultimate available. They're trying to get one. The Fear Beyond Death is going to go down. Shikari gets feared. Inax tries to put the damage out. Magic Felix only stuns up Mystiques for the moment. And now XL maybe looking to turn this around, but Fnatic just walk away happy with the turret.
Yeah, but they're going to head straight to the Baron, and XL have to consolidate the base. You can see Tax, Inax, and Mystique's heading up to contest. I'm not sure they'll get there in time. They take it so fast for that mountain, and it's just spawned now. XL are moving up, but they're in vision. It looks like Fnatic might look for a pick instead.
I mean, XL has the ability to roam warp in, but Sendo with that teleport also coming in. Magic Felix flashes in with the Vanguard's edge. In comes the party portal. The damage is coming down. Inax is full HP for the moment. The Blade Call is huge. That's going to be the rest on to one as X-Maddie is jumping into the fray. Sendo is trying to stay alive for as long as possible. XL once again turn it around. Dan's still alive though. So is X-Maddie. The damage onto XL is absolutely huge. He has to flash away though. And XL do come out on top for the moment. But the damage is still potentially there for Fnatic.
Yeah, and Maddie stays alive, which is a crucial component here, but still, XL are finding life where there should be none in this game. XL's huge coming in there, and the amount of damage they managed to fire into Dan. Mystiques dies again, but no one really cares at this point in the game. He did his job with the ultimate, and then dies, and the rest of his team survive and just put so much damage into Magic Felix, and crucially, take his GA as well, which is a massive thing to be on cooldown.
That's really big as well, and you can now see that Inax has got that Vamp Scepter, so does have a little bit of sustain for himself.
And crucially, Maddie is full build. Maddie is full build. He will not get stronger from this point in terms of items. And the thing is with Ezreal, he's not one of those champions where you can sell items out because he really doesn't benefit. A lot of them are stacked up or synchronized very well with each other. So he's at his power limit.
Fnatic Death Brush. In comes the true shot. Fnatic just going to go back towards Baron.
Shikari, once again, giving items over to his team. And that's something to note is that 2 upgraded items for the Ornn. And then
Sendo, here he comes, a massive engage by Mystiques, as Fnatic are going to lose some people, but Dan already goes unstoppable, takes down Mystiques, Magic Felix forced to jump away, the turret is going to go down, XL almost found the perfect turnaround engage, but Dan does hold out and Mystiques is down.
I mean, there is one thing you can say is Mystiques is not a KDA player, he knows what his job is, he's looking for it. They were so close to taking X-Maddie down, just missed out on it, but now Mighty TPing back in on full HP, and they are looking to get pressure again. This Baron is on the cards.
This is going to be very, very close here. Still 20 seconds until Mystiques is alive. Inax, crucially, hasn't been to base since 2 team fights. He's been sitting on that Vamp Scepter for a very, very long time, so the damage not quite there. Requiem is available to Dan, and this is just going to be Baron Nashor going down nice and quick. Fnatic basing up with their 3rd Baron of this game. XL forced with their backs to the walls.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still hope. There is absolutely still hope, but Maddie's still yet to die, and Dan's sitting on that massive bounty. If they find those kills, they could be in a good position, but until then, it's still going to put question marks towards XL. They've been behind for a lot of this game, but they showed life, and that's the crucial thing.
Fnatic working their way down this mid lane. 3 open inhibitors for them to take. Almost a 10k gold lead over XL. The base has come through, and the QSS has been finished up onto Inax now. Just 1 item to go.
The full Mimic Scimitar, so managed to cash in a lot of gold there. That extra defensive cooldown could come in huge.
That's going to be the true shot.
Doesn't
just
connect
for a little
on
bit of poke, but not going to land for the moment. Was on a relatively short cooldown at level 17.
Look at Mystiques on the minimap. He is looking for this flank. He wants to find it. This is the opportunity. This could be the team fight. He's going in.
Mystiques is going in, lands onto Dan. He's going to be the first victim. No, he goes golden. Prosper gets himself a taunt onto a couple of members. That's going to be the fear beyond death. Sendo flashes into the fight. Exile throws out the ultimate, and now they're going to get the Requiem down. Inax takes to the sky for the Professor.
Inax
not
is down
enough because he's going to die. X-Maddie is still full HP, and XL are losing members left, right, and center. Taxon and XL are the only two who have to try and defend versus 3 members of Fnatic, and X-Maddie comes up absolutely huge. The redemption as well to heal him up, and now the open inhibitor will be the victim of Fnatic's siege with this Baron buff. I don't think XL can do anything to stop this siege.
They will play it slowly, though. They respect the fact that XL's still alive. This Rise is very strong. Maddie crucially has the damage to win this out.
True shot onto Taxa, going to put a shield out already. XL has to hold, but these are Baron waves. It's hard for an AP champion like Rise to hold out. Inax up in 17 seconds. Mystique's in 7.
Off, but
this might just be Fnatic walking away.
They get ulti inhibitors, so they got to take it. They're going to back off, probably pick up that Ocean on the way out. Crucially, Matty, I mean, he's someone we criticized last week for throwing the game away. That Fnatic had won. But here he is coming out so clutch. Dominating performance and still unkilled by the side of XL. And I feel like until they find him, they're not going to win these team fights. They're not going to win this game.
10-0-7. Matty playing the game of his life here versus XL.
And he has actually switched out his boots for a Rabadon's death cap. So ignore everything I said earlier about not switching out items. This man's done it. He wants the extra AP, going to give a lot of damage on his W, and, you know, a lot on his Q as well, because that extra AP goes at the ratios on that. I mean, because essentially, if you think about it, the Magic Pen boost will just give him extra magic damage. And if you want magic damage, you buy a hat.
Yeah, a wizard hat always gives you more damage.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be interesting. We haven't seen the last few True Shot barrages connect, but if one hits now, I want to see how much damage it does pump out.
All right, Fnatic. 3 waves of supers, 6 supers per wave, with Baron buff for the moment as well. It's getting hard as Inax does dodge away on that true shot.
It's killed the shield, I guess, so, you know. I was expecting so much more from the ultimate.
I don't think it hit.
It did. It just killed the shield. But I mean, that is a big shield.
That is a hench shield.
Yeah.
XL.
Triple waves pushing in. This is going to
so
be dicey.
hard to defend here. Baron has one out and Daisy's been summoned. In comes the Call of the Forge God by Shikari. Does land it onto Sendo. Sendo tries to purge away to safety, but the waves are just too big for XL. Can they actually hold out here? If the first turret is going to go down, Magifila looking for the opening. Mystique goes in. Only lands onto Shikari, who just goes golden for the moment. The Requiem is going to come down by Dan. Looking to chunk out members left, right, and center. Sendo is taking so much damage from X-Maddie, but not enough to get the kill. The Redemption heals up XL for the moment, and you can see Prospect trying to get the Swan. A 3-man stun by Magifelix, and in comes the hero's entrance. Down goes the Vanguard's edge. The Fear Beyond Death is coming down, but the Nexus is being focused. Fnatic will sit at the top of the tower, coming out of week 2 of the UKLC.
And they don't even need to win the last fight. They take the Nexus and the game, and to the namesake, Fnatic Rising have risen to the top. They took well, not every team, but they took the whole thing through the gauntlet and brought it to XL. They redeemed themselves for last week's performance.
Yeah, they lost last week to XL, but they do come up on top coming out of week 2, which now means that XL will slide back down to the bottom and join the other 7 teams to try and climb their way back up to take on Fnatic next week.
Importantly, there also won't be a rematch next week as Fnatic won. So
yeah,
straight away they pick up the full 5 points for this week. And the MVP, unsurprisingly, will be X-Maddie. I mean,
no surprise.
It would have been robbed if he didn't get this. Such a solid performance.
17-0.
Didn't die. Just didn't die. Unkillable.
He played so well. Now, if anyone coming out of that game feels, but maybe someone like Dan with his Archie, if someone like Prosper, maybe the unsung hero coming out of today. Actually, Prosper can't get it because he's already had MVP. But if there was anyone you thought maybe out of any of our games, out of any of the 4 teams playing today, 5 teams playing today, sorry, is your unsung hero, use that hashtag UKLC and let us know on Twitter using @LVPUK as well. And we will be putting up, just after the show, the unsung hero vote to see who the people's MVP is.
Mine personally would be Shikari, just for whenever he goes like this.
It's
really
so
cute.
pure.
Yeah.
It's so pure.
No, I love it.
And if there are any games that you did miss coming out of this week, or you've just tuned in, you're like, what happened? You can head over to the YouTube LVP UK, where you can actually catch up on all of the previous VODs from last week, this week, and even our previous tournament for the champions.
Yeah, absolutely. So be sure to check them out if you missed anything, but we will, of course, be back next week for more.
Oh, man, I'm so excited to see who's going to rise up next week to take Fnatic on, because Fnatic are looking
such a fight.
so strong now.
Absolutely, but I mean, it's another situation where XL have lost, and in disastrous fashion. They're going to be reeling from this, so they're going to be back for blood next week again.
And I think someone like Diabolus as well is another team who...
I mean, think
they,
how close.
They almost beat Fnatic.
Yeah, and I'd argue that Fnatic XL was less close than Fnatic Diabolus.
Yeah.
I mean, you can argue that doesn't necessarily measure how strong the teams are, but I absolutely think we could have Diabolus taking down one of the Academy teams next week, but will it be XL or will it be Fnatic?
I think as the dust settles coming out of week 2, there's definitely a kind of clear of who our top teams are. You look at Diabolus, you look at Fnatic, and you look at XL. These are 3 teams we put down as the highest. I do believe we have a scoreboard coming up in a second, so we can actually have a look at who's on top. XL still sit at the top with 8 points. Fnatic Rising with 7. Diabolus from 3 points. Darkspawn and M&M and Phelan at all time for 4th, as Barrage, Bulldog, and Enclave sit with 0 points at the bottom.
Yeah, so still some teams with low amounts of points, which is, I'm going to say heartbreaking, because they've had some good performances, just haven't been able to find the wins. But you can see at the top of the table, XL and Fnatic both haven't taken a tower champion miles ahead, but still, Diabolus there is on their tails. And, you know, could see them come in next week and be the next tower champion. We don't know.
And already, the framed picture has gone down, and Fnatic will sit at the top of the tower.
Did you throw the XL jersey in the bin?
No, it's,
that wasn't very nice.
I thought that was the...
They're going to be back next week.
I thought that was the frame storage box.
No, that's a trash can.
Oh. Sorry, guys.
Sorry about that.
We'll get that sorted.
It's going to be a bit awkward if they come back next week.
They're only 1 point off, Fnatic.
True.
And Diabolus, you know, if they can win a tower challenge, also they suddenly climb up very high versus a team like Fnatic and XL. So while it looks at the moment on paper that actually there's a massive point gap between first and second and then like third.
I mean, in 1 week you can make it up.
But in 1 week, yeah, exactly. Diabolus, you know, they have to play multiple games. They have to win at least 3 games, which is 3 points. Then if they win the tower challenge, that's a further 2 points. Potentially they can get 5 points next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely. But I mean, there's a lot of prizes for winning. You know, there's the prize money, there's the sort of reputation gains, there's the spots in EU Masters. But I think everyone just really wants their shirt up on the wall.
Everyone wants their shirt on the wall.
In my bedroom.
In your...
This is my bedroom.
Oh, that's where we
are.
are.
Casting from your bedroom. My bedroom,
oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that you've got a fully League of Legends and also like...
I'm in a big
light,
fan.
Lit room, you've got all your lights everywhere.
I mean, lighting's not that difficult to have, you know?
I mean, these are some pretty impressive lights.
I guess. You know, it's just a couple of desk lights glued together.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us here for week 2 at the UK League Championship. We'll be back Wednesday on 6 o'clock to start up week 3 to find out who is going to try and dethrone Fnatic from the top of the tower. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
See you then.